Hey there, money-minded friends. Welcome back to the Investing Iguana. I'm Iggy, your guide through the jungle of stocks, finance, retirement planning, and wealth-building strategies. If you're new here, I've been ranked 8th in the 2024 Influential Tigers by Tiger Brokers, with my content reaching over 768,000 reads and 53,000 likes. After 700 plus videos and more than 300,000 watch hours, I'm still passionate about breaking down complex economic trends for you. Today, we're diving into something that's shaking up global markets right now: Trump's new tariffs on Asia-Pacific economies. These aren't just numbers on paper. They're about to impact your investments, the products you buy, and possibly even your job. So grab your coffee and let's break this down together. Have you noticed prices changing at your local stores lately? Well, buckle up, because what I'm about to share might explain why your favorite products could get a lot more expensive. The Trump administration just dropped a major announcement that has economists and business leaders scratching their heads. They've imposed significant import tariffs on 16 different Asia-Pacific economies. We're talking about countries from China to Singapore, Japan to Vietnam. But here's what's really interesting. These aren't small tariffs. Some countries are facing rates as high as 49%. That's Cambodia, by the way. Laos is looking at 48% and Vietnam around 46%. Even major economies like China, Japan, and South Korea are getting hit hard. Why should you care? Because these tariffs will affect the prices of thousands of products you buy every day. Think about your smartphone, your clothes, your car parts. A huge portion comes from these Asian countries. But wait, what exactly is a tariff? Think of it as a tax on imported goods. When the US puts a 40% tariff on products from Vietnam, it means those products cost 40% more to bring into the country. And guess who ultimately pays that extra cost? That's right, you and me, the consumers. Now here's where things get really weird. Even the experts are confused about how these tariff rates were calculated. Nick Morrow from the Economist Intelligence Unit, a pretty big deal in economic analysis, literally said, "To be honest, we're still trying to figure out where these numbers came from. The Trump administration claims they're imposing only half of what these countries charge on US exports. But economists are saying that's just not true. The numbers don't match up with actual tariff rates these countries have." One economist, Jayant Menon, thinks the tariffs might be based on a formula using the trade deficit divided by exports to the US, then halved with a 10% minimum. He calls it arbitrary and unhelpful. I'd call it confusing and potentially damaging. Think about it this way. Imagine if your bank suddenly charged you a new fee based on a formula they couldn't clearly explain. You'd be pretty upset, right? That's how these countries feel right now. Are you still with me? Good, because this is where it gets even more interesting for your investment portfolio. Not all countries are facing the same impact. Let's break down who's most vulnerable. China is the obvious target, facing what analysts call a pretty significant export shock. This could even cause China to miss its GDP growth target. If you have investments tied to Chinese manufacturing or exports, you might want to pay close attention. But the real surprise, the Indochina countries, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, and Thailand. These nations are facing some of the highest tariffs of all. Cambodia tops the list at 49%, with Laos right behind at 48%. Why these countries specifically? Some analysts think it's because of their closer economic ties with China. Others point to their significant trade surpluses with the US. Either way, they're caught in the crossfire. Vietnam is particularly interesting. They've benefited hugely from the China Plus One strategy, where companies diversify manufacturing beyond China. But with a 46% tariff, that advantage might disappear overnight. If you've invested in Vietnamese manufacturing thinking it was a safe alternative to China, you might need to reconsider. Thailand's automotive industry, already struggling, now faces even bigger challenges. If you own shares in Thai auto manufacturers or their suppliers, this could spell trouble. But here's a surprising twist. Singapore might actually benefit from all this chaos. With a much lower tariff of just 10%, Singapore could see investment and trade diversion coming their way. Could this be an opportunity for savvy investors? I think it might be worth exploring. Have you ever played chess? Because these countries are now making their moves on the global economic chessboard. So what are these countries doing about these tariffs? Let's look at their game plans. China is expected to be cautious this time around. Unlike previous trade wars, they're likely to take a more targeted approach, focusing on specific U.S. products or companies rather than broad retaliation. With their own economic challenges at home, they can't afford an all-out trade war. There's talk about China, Japan, and South Korea forming a united front, but history makes this complicated. These countries have their own tensions and competing interests. Japan and South Korea's auto industries compete with China's growing EV sector. Still, the threat of U.S. tariffs might push them to overcome these differences. ASEAN as a bloc is considering joint steps to address the tariffs. Vietnam has already announced a rapid response team. Malaysia is looking to expand into other export markets. The smart strategy seems to be diversification rather than retaliation. Countries are looking to strengthen trade partnerships with each other, the EU and Gulf countries. There's a growing focus on intra-ASEAN trade and local-for-local production. What does this mean for your investments? If you're heavily invested in U.S.-Asia trade, you might want to look at companies that are diversifying their supply chains or focusing more on regional trade within Asia. Remember when everyone was talking about de-risking from China? Now analysts are suggesting countries might start de-risking from the U.S. instead. That's a major shift in global trade thinking. Let's zoom in on one specific sector that's facing major disruption, the automotive industry. With potential 25% auto tariffs, what happens next? Southeast Asian auto manufacturers might cut prices to stay competitive. This could squeeze their profits, but might help maintain market share. South Korean car makers might redirect their focus from the U.S. to markets like Thailand. This could increase competition in Southeast Asian auto markets. We'll likely see increased Chinese investment in regional automotive industries as they build stronger regional value chains to bypass U.S. tariffs. Japan's automotive investments in ASEAN are deep-rooted and unlikely to change dramatically overnight. Their strategy will probably focus on adaptation rather than relocation. Countries like Indonesia are pushing hard to develop their EV manufacturing sectors. Could this be the push they needed to accelerate those plans? If you're invested in automotive stocks, especially Asian manufacturers, you'll want to watch how these companies adapt to the new tariff reality. Some might struggle, but others might find creative solutions that ultimately strengthen their position. Are you wondering what all this means for the bigger picture of global trade? Let's connect the dots. These tariffs aren't just about prices and profits. They could fundamentally reshape global trade patterns. Economists are calling this the weaponization of trade policy. Strong words, but they reflect the seriousness of what's happening. Trade is no longer just about economic advantage. It's becoming a geopolitical tool. If these tariffs stick around long term, we might see the U.S. become less relevant in global supply chains, especially in automotive manufacturing. Companies might decide it's simpler to build regional supply chains that don't involve the U.S. at all. Regional trade agreements like RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, and CPTPP, Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, will become even more important. These don't replace U.S. demand immediately, but they do provide alternative frameworks for trade. The big question is whether we're seeing the beginning of a more regionalized global economy with stronger intra-regional trade and weaker trans-Pacific connections. If you're investing for the long term, this potential restructuring of global trade flows should definitely factor into your strategy. So what does all this mean for your money? Let's break down the risks and opportunities. Risks first. Companies heavily dependent on U.S.-Asia trade face significant challenges. This includes many electronics manufacturers, textile companies, and automotive suppliers. Their profit margins could be squeezed, and some might struggle to remain competitive. Supply chain disruptions are almost certain. Companies will need to reorganize their production and sourcing, which takes time and costs money. Expect some volatility in affected sectors. Consumer prices in the U.S. will likely increase for many products, which could dampen demand and affect overall economic growth. This might impact broader market performance, but where there are risks, there are also opportunities. Companies that can quickly adapt their supply chains might gain competitive advantage. Look for businesses with flexible manufacturing capabilities and diverse supplier networks. Countries with lower tariff rates, like Singapore, 10%, and the Philippines might see investment inflows. Companies based there could benefit from trade diversion. Regional trade within Asia could accelerate, benefiting companies focused on intra-Asian markets rather than exports to the US. The EV sector in Southeast Asia might see accelerated development as countries like Indonesia push harder to establish themselves as regional leaders. Remember, market disruptions often create opportunities for well-positioned companies. The key is identifying which businesses can navigate these changes most effectively. Have you thought about how these tariffs might affect different investment timeframes? Let's consider that next. If you're a short-term trader, you're probably already seeing volatility in stocks exposed to US-Asia trade. This uncertainty might continue for months as companies adjust and countries negotiate. For medium-term investors, 1-3 years, focus on companies with the financial strength and operational flexibility to adapt to new trade patterns. They might face challenges initially, but could emerge stronger if they navigate this period well. For long-term investors, these tariffs might accelerate some existing trends: regionalization of supply chains, decreased dependence on U.S. markets, and stronger intra-Asian trade networks. Position your portfolio accordingly. Remember that trade policies can change. A different administration might reverse or modify these tariffs. Build some flexibility into your investment strategy to account for potential policy shifts. I believe the most successful investors will be those who can see beyond the immediate disruption to identify the new patterns of trade and commerce that will emerge from this situation. So what actions should you consider taking with your investments? First, review your portfolio for exposure to the most affected countries and sectors. China, Vietnam, and the Indochina region face the highest tariffs, while automotive, electronics, and textiles are particularly vulnerable sectors. Consider diversifying your Asian investments to include countries with lower tariff rates like Singapore or those focused more on regional than US trade. Look for companies already announcing adaptation strategies. Those that move quickly to reorganize their supply chains might gain advantage over competitors. Don't panic sell based on short-term volatility. These changes will take time to play out, and hasty decisions rarely lead to good investment outcomes. Consider the potential for diplomatic solutions. Countries are already discussing responses, and negotiations could lead to modifications of these tariffs. Remember that market disruptions often create buying opportunities in quality companies whose stocks get temporarily depressed. Keep some powder dry to take advantage of these situations. What we're witnessing isn't just another trade dispute. It's potentially a significant restructuring of global trade patterns that have been in place for decades. The implications go beyond immediate price changes to affect long-term investment trends. The countries facing these tariffs aren't sitting idle. They're developing strategies that could reshape regional trade networks and create new economic relationships. This process will create both winners and losers in the investment world. Singapore's position is particularly interesting. With its lower tariff rate and strategic position, it might emerge as a relative winner in this situation. Keep an eye on opportunities there. If you found this analysis helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more insights on global economic trends and their investment implications. For those who want to dive deeper into regional investment opportunities in Asia, check out my previous video on emerging markets in Southeast Asia. Until next time, this is Iggy from the Investing Iguana, helping you navigate the complex world of global investments. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep growing your wealth.